Welcome to What's Your Story. When you're 26, just after college, waiting to achieve your life dreams, what do you get? You get a heart attack. My guest today literally got a heart attack. Let's hear his story before and after the attack. Welcome, Mr. Sivapragasam.
Thanks, Ganesh, for having me here.
I have never met anyone who had a heart attack at the age of 26.
Wow, I'm sitting right in front of you.
So tell me, how was your childhood? What actually, I'm more curious to find out what actually caused this heart attack. So how was your childhood?
My childhood, I've been very active. In primary school, I was the athlete of the year. I used to win like 4 gold medals, sprinting events and all that. Very active. When I go back to home, I was involved with football and all that stuff. Very active. So I was never obese. Very active life. My dad used to play tennis. We used to be ball pickers. So we do all that. So how it happened, it was a freak. We can talk about that. This is something intimate that I'm actually having this conversation, which I normally don't have this conversation. Maybe it's about time for me to be open about this.
So actually, where are you from in Malaysia?
I was born in Kuala Pilah. My dad and grew up in Bahau. For my primary education, I was studying in St. Aidan's School, which is a fantastic memory because that's where athletic was there, and I was doing really good with the athletics team. And then that's how life was. And then I moved to PD and yeah.
How many siblings you had?
My brother and I. He's 4 years older to me. So he's been an angel to me, although we didn't start off well in the beginning. Yeah, we used to fight like cats and dogs. He has always been there, protecting me when I'm in trouble. Not that I get into trouble a lot, because I was fairly a compliant kid. So that's my brother. He's in Singapore now. Yeah.
So you were the soft type and he was the rough and tough.
Yeah, you could say that. He's for him, fist talks first. So I tend to not to be in the way of his fist.
So both of you went to the same school?
Yes, he was 4 years my senior. It's interesting, when I went to Standard 1, Dad dropped both of us. And then my brother was supposed to take me to Standard 1, and he put me in a queue, and then he disappeared. And then I was flowing in that queue, and then I was seated in a class. That's how I started my education.
So you were like daring in everything you do because you have a big brother in school kind of thing?
I know there's a brother there, but at the same time, I was not a daring guy where I go and do stuffs. As I said, I was quite complying to, I don't know why that compliance came. I'm a firm believer of karma. It could be my previous seed that put me in this place to be compliant. Never wanted to hurt people, neither being hurt. So I didn't want to put in harm's way, myself or others. So that was the situation.
So how was your secondary school?
Secondary school was fun. I continued sports, and then I moved to Port Dickson. My dad moved to Port Dickson, and over there I moved when I was in Form 4. And I never had a girlfriend in the past when I was doing my primary or secondary school, where some people say it's weird, right? When the hormones are trying to speak to you, whispering to you to go and get someone. It didn't, because I was maybe involved in sports.
Yours was very silent.
Mine was silent. Maybe it's basically energy. The energy went somewhere else, I guess.
Or shall I say, you haven't met the right person to trigger the motions of your hormones.
Yep, it happened in Form 4. 16 years old. Went to this new school. What she says is that I actually walked wrong. I walked to a class which was not my class. This could be fate, right? I walked to her class and thought I'm the student there, and the teacher said, no, this is not for Science 1. It's the neighboring class, and that's when she saw me, it seems. So then love at first sight, I guess, and I didn't see her because I was so afraid, right? And then we met.
Who made the first move?
Both of us had the feeling, and whenever we have this conversation, I always tell she did it, and whenever she has her conversation with her friends, I did it. So, but the thing is that we are together still. That's the
So you married your beau at 16?
16. We went out for 10 years. At the age of 26, got married.
That's
And
nice.
Yeah.
So after school?
After school, I went to university. I went to University Pertanian, Malaysia. Now it's called University Putra, Malaysia. So it's interesting when we talk about UPM. UPM doesn't exist now. University Pertanian, where is it? It's called Putra now. Over there, I did my mechanical engineering. I was the only Indian ethnic student, so I had to go for all the lectures and exams. Obviously, I have to go for exams. All the lectures I have to go because if I don't go, there's no representation of that ethnicity, so there'll be zero. So I went, I graduated, had a good time there because I had my girlfriend outside. So I didn't have, like most of the university guys, especially the final years will be looking for the first years, right? The moment after orientation and they had this couple thing going on, I didn't have to do all that stuff. So it was very memorable time in the university. Yeah.
So at that time, did you ever regret having a girlfriend so that you couldn't look at another girl or something to that effect?
No, never. Because I was having so much of fun with the guys. Had some good girlfriends where we can have good conversation without having that feeling, right? Am I going to take her out and all that stuff?
So all the girls were calling you Anne?
No, they better not. We were just friends. But more towards the guys in the sense, mechanical engineering is mainly there's a lot of guys. That doesn't mean I'm skewing to the other side, either the dark side or where the force is, right? I had a good time being non-attached in that fraternity.
So were you still active in sports in college?
Yes, I was playing tennis. I was playing tennis at that time. Some football. Yeah, fairly active. Yes. Yeah, I was smoking that time. So I picked up smoking in Form 6, I guess. Yeah, in university, I was the cool dude who smokes. At that time, smoking was like, oh, why not, kind of thing. Yeah.
So after college?
After college, I did my internship in National Semiconductor, and I was trained in a machine, which I was privileged to be trained. I did some good job over there. They liked my performance, so they offered me a job before I left in my third year, second semester. And that's the time, before I graduated, they offered me a job. So my interview was more about talking about parents, how are you, and all that stuff. That was a good experience. I have my mentors there who taught me a lot. I was there for almost a year. After that, I got a job in Motorola, Seremban, because we were planning to get married and all that. That was at the age of 26, I actually moved to Motorola, yeah.
So when did this happen, the heart attack part?
As you mentioned, 26. It was just a sudden pain that came. I thought it was gastric. My wife, at that time, she was the girlfriend. She was with me, and then I said, I'm having some pain, and it's a crushing pain. It could be because I was fairly active, I could take it. And then went to the hospital, they thought it was gastric, they were giving me some gastric medicine. So I was taking that, and then took me to, I think it was a clinic, the hospital nearby, government. And that's when they did the troponin test, they found out there's some protein. I think that's what they do. They rushed me to, no, they didn't rush, my girlfriend, because my parents were out. I think it was somewhere near Thaipusam, I think so. No one at home. I went to Asunta because it's the panel for the company. So I was there, I was in ICU. Yeah, it was interesting, 26 in ICU, wondering what's going to happen. It was a moment of, the wind being taken out from the sail. Right, it was a feeling, and the after effect came later actually.
Did you have a surgery for the?
No. So they thought it confirms few blockages. So I met this doctor. I still remember that guy, Tabi guy. So took to the the theater where they'll do angiogram. So I was like a real strong horse in the sense I'm not succumbing to the Valium that they were giving. So they were giving me Valium, and I couldn't, because you need to be relaxed for the catheter to go in and to do its job. I couldn't, so I don't know how much he pumped. I started laughing and crying at the same time. Maybe I was like Sivaji Ganesan. And then he told me that definitely there's going to be 1 or maybe 2-3 blocks. And when he was pumping in the dye inside, his face changed. And at that time, I remember I was actually calling to Hanuman. I don't know why. I was just calling to Hanuman. Suddenly, I became a very spiritual guy, right? What happened was his face changed, and then he says, there's no block. So what they found out is basically my artery just collapsed for a while and then let go. So the blood, it flow again. Just that it left a scar in my heart. So I have a scarred heart. Not because of my wife, because of to know what happened, right? So I was flabbergasted. I was not too sure.
The doctors did confirm it was a heart attack.
Yeah, it is. It is a full-blown heart attack. Yes, I was lucky. That was the best thing that ever happened in my life. Coming from now, when I look at it.
Why is that so?
It put me in a journey, right? That life can just go like that. Right? When we talk to elderly people, they say, I'm elder than you, I might die earlier, earlier than you. But it's not about that. We are in a race to wake up the next day. We don't know who's going to wake up. It's not about your age. There's some other calculation that's taking place.
That means you started taking more chances in life?
Not in the beginning. I was very depressed, although I didn't know it was depression. Because just imagine at 26, at the peak of your career, you got your job that you really wanted, and next thing you got this. And I still remember going to work, they were all looking at me like, some guy who's weak coming in. This is after a month or 2, right, going in. And how I know that I was in a very depressive situation, I didn't know then, but now the work that I do gives me the clue, right? I used to go to this panel doctor in PD. I used to, have some stubbles so that I'm sick.
Were you married that time?
Not yet. I got married. It happened somewhere in the beginning, somewhere in January, February. I got married in November to the same person. Okay. So I used to go to this clinic and give some sad story that I'm having these food poisoning, all that stuff. I don't feel like going to. So that was sign of me not wanting to go.
That means you didn't want to see people.
Yeah. I just want to be in my
own.
So
did you feel that your office mates were looking you in a pitying manner or something like that?
That's what I thought. Right. Now that I know it's my memory of the situation. At that time, I didn't have that awareness, but still had to go to work, be the breadwinner. My wife was also working. She was working in ExxonMobil. At that time, she was working here too. So there was this weird incident that took place that really, I felt, oh, damn. They built a new building where there's lift now. So in that lift, there's only pregnant ladies who can go, Otherwise, we fit people have to take the staircase, right? To keep your BMI intact. So what happened during one of the comms briefing, my operations manager was actually having he was giving his talk. While having this talk, he said only people who are ladies who are pregnant can take the lift, and also Siva. He thought it was a privilege, right? But I felt like, damn, it's not the. I felt really bad. I'm not fit. So that's the situation it was. At that time, that was my darkest period of my life.
Yeah, especially when you're young.
Yeah.
When you're older, when you hear comments like that, then you feel it's a privilege.
Yes.
But when you're young and when you go to hear something like that,
exactly,
then you feel something's really wrong with you.
Yes.
Okay. At that moment, did you have any feelings that, are you going to be like this throughout your life, fearing life?
Absolutely, because don't know, right? I only know what I know.
You might just drop dead just like that.
Yeah, anything can happen, right? If it can happen to me in a split second, it can happen anytime, anywhere, right? So that's how the situation was. So I was wallowing in my sorrow, very quiet. I didn't want to do much, but things started happening, right? Met a good friend, my senior. I used to be the Intract Club president, and he was the former president. We used to have leadership club and all that. Amazing guy. His name is Kartigesu. So he was into a network marketing business, At that time, I was just thinking, it'll be good for me to have some extra income with this nonsense happening. What if I lose the job? What if, that kind of thing. So got into that because of him being a real good person, someone that I look up to. Got into the business. That was an amazing experience, that 10 years, because of the power of association. That's where I started learning about positivity, association, influence, what are the input to get. That's when I was immersing myself into a continuing education program. They had an amazing system, so I was just soaking myself into that, and it was the pivot in my life, together with my wife. That time she was not my wife, right? We got involved together, and that was my changing. That was the choice that I had to take, and it made a big change. And all that, the work that I do, there is an evidence from there of positive psychology that I do, positive technology that we create, and all that. There was a starting point somewhere. Right?
So you were still working and doing this network marketing?
Yes, I was doing it for 10 years. While doing it, I also went to India as a consultant.
You said you went to India?
Yeah, I went to India. I got a job as an expat in India. Good package. With that time was US currency was really good. So yeah, and that's the time which is another turning point in my life. Working for Fortune 500 in the beginning, you have your perks. You have a good panel of cardiologists who's looking at you. At the same time, it comes with medication too. And I was taking medication, a handful of medication I was taking, and it was making me to be very weak. I didn't know the efficacy of the medication, or it's me, I really don't know, right?
Now I need to ask you on this. You on medication?
Yeah.
You mean you were having high blood pressure, or your cholesterol was high, or what was the medication for?
This is basically like blood thinning and all that stuff.
Why they were giving you blood thinning?
I don't know. That was I think their regimental approach for not getting another attack, right? Because we couldn't find out what was the root cause. So one of the ways is to keep the blood thin, keep the cholesterol level. They said my cholesterol was high, so I'm sure there was some statin. I didn't know about what were the drugs that was given, so I was taking that. So I was feeling weak, taking that. Now that we know, there's a lot of studies have debunked a lot of things that's like statin and all that stuff, right? Now statin, people say don't take statin now because it's giving Alzheimer and all that stuff. I don't know, I'm not from the medical fraternity, right? So at that time when I'm not part of this Fortune 500, everything stops. So I have to make my decision, I'm going on my own. That was one of the best decisions I made. I didn't know at that time, it was very fearful because the drugs were expensive, right? When you're getting it for free, it's nothing, right? It was expensive. So I was doing it for a couple of months, then I said, this is not the way to go. I stopped. And I thought, let's see whether I'm going to...
Then you stopped and then you're taking another job offer.
Yeah. Yeah, right? One good thing that happened, when I stopped, I'm not recommending this to anyone. I'm solely talking about myself, and I'm totally responsible for myself, right? That's why it's called my story, right? So
if anything has gone wrong, you wouldn't be here sitting talking to me now.
Exactly. So, the moment I stopped, all the fear was there, but then I caught up with work over there. I realized that the energy level was better. I could wake up, I can do stuff. The fear was still there, right? But it was, the good thing is that a year of this network marketing and the immersion that took place and the people that I was going around, the support that I had kept me going. I didn't know it was giving some good hormones in my body. I really don't know about that, right? So I was there for good 2 years, and then I said I know that I can't last in a job for a long time looking at all this stuff, nonsense politics that's happening. I quit the job and came back to Malaysia, started up an IT company, which didn't last that long also. So I'm a complete failure in my life, right? So the good thing is I allowed myself to try stuffs. At least we can help myself first, and maybe I can help someone, right? After that, at the same time, the network marketing business was still going on, right? So that was something that I was always falling back, and it was there. So after that, we decided to go full on that. So we built it to a significant level, and that's how the kids. That's where they.
At that level, what was your motivation?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
there need to be a career motivation.
Yes.
There should be a family motivation.
Exactly. When I was 27, I got a kid, right? Krishna is named, wonderful boy. So that was a big motivation. And then when I was 28, we got twins. And twins, one of the reasons why we got twins, whenever I go to this barber, I tend to sit down and look at this picture of this guy wearing jeans, holding two girls with curly hair. Only I can see their back. And I love that. I used to talk about that. We didn't know we had twins in our family tree, but we got twins, twin girls, identical twins. So the kids were my biggest motivator until now, because if I want to sit down and have a conversation with them, I need to do right by myself. Otherwise, it's a fake. So they were the biggest motivator. So things came. World is filled with angels, not demons.
I mean, you're already having kids, and you're already having a very good job in India. So why did you leave?
I couldn't see myself.
So what made you change? I mean, you've been very comfortable with a very steady job, which is paying you very well. So what made you think, okay, I'm going to be different tomorrow, you know? What made you come to that stand?
I read this book called Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins. He said the day when you wake up, you feel like vomiting to go to work, quit. Now, I didn't know now that's called happiness. I was trying to get happiness in my life, right? It was never the money, it was the process of getting that.
So did you have your family there in India, or they were here?
No, they used to come and visit me. We had some privilege.
But
they were here.
Family was here,
here
so you were away.
Yes.
So that could have motivated you to come back.
Yep. And I wanted to be a full-time dad when my son goes to school, which happened when he was in standard 1. That happened. So our kids were growing up in this positive environment, listening to the CD. We were playing the CDs in the car, meeting up with my good friends who talk about positive stuff. We talk about, how we develop businesses and all that stuff. The network marketing business was a real business if you work on it, right? So that was going on until 2008. At around that time, we were getting a bit dull with that. It's a business. You have to put your work, right? And things were slowly taking its toll, right? And someone in that business came and talked about a book called Secrets. Rhonda Byrne's book. It was a big thing in 2007, right? 2007, we got to know about this book, and we all got the CD. My leaders got the CD and all that stuff. We never listened to it or watched it. At that time, after the talk, we realized we all had the CD, and we thought it was a calling. So now we're talking about calling now. So we watched that, and it was really, really something that we were looking for, because life was it's a bit negative at that moment. We thought the universe can help. And then another speaker spoke about a gentleman by the name of Michael J. Logier. This gentleman was interviewed by Oprah Winfrey twice, and he was with the satellite radio show with Oprah for 1 year. So we were excited with that book, because Secret was an appetizer. Law of Attraction by Michael Logier was actually the manual. So we read that, we got excited. So this takes to the next level, right? Positive mindset. And now this thing coming into us called Law of Attraction now. So my business partner Derek got to know that Michael is coming to Malaysia. So what his friend from New Zealand said, maybe you can go and say hi to him. So he went and said hi together with his wife, Ilwan. And after that, he said, if you guys are serious, come to Vancouver for certification. And it's not free. So there's a lot of money. Yeah, we had to pay quite a lot, around 20,000.
The certification is on what?
Facilitator, Law of Attraction facilitator. So first in his group of people. There was around 200 people who attended. We went. I didn't have the money that much because things were going south. Angels came. One of the angels that popped up is not my credit card. I made it pregnant anyway. My brother, he said, hey, I was bouncing this idea to him, and he says, "Why don't you go?" I then spoke about the finance. He said, "I'll give you." I said, "I'm one person as a complying kid. I don't go and ask people for money." So he said, "I'll give you." Right? I was very touched, and then he said, "There was a time when I needed, you gave." Right? I really didn't know, right? So I went, got the certification done. Davey was here. At that time, we were taking care of my dad's restaurant. So all these things were happening.
Your dad had restaurants?
Yeah, 2 restaurants. And then next thing, came back over there. Michael Logier was there. Michael Logier was asking this question. I could have been the quietest facilitator, participant over there. So in a casual meet, he said, "So Siva, what are you going to do?" This is what I said to him. "I'm going to go back home and I'm going to teach this to my wife and my kids and see where it goes." That's it, right? I came back home. That's what we did. We did a lot of pro bono work. We were supposed to generate income because we are facilitators, 20,000 down the drains.
Yeah.
But we were doing a lot of free stuff. So one day Michael called us. "How's the business?" We said, "Good." "How much did you make?" We said, "0." But this is where I understood the transaction of energy. He said, when you are having a transaction, when you give out energy, there should be some energy that need to come in. In this case, there should be some currency coming in because you're actually changing lives. That's when we started our LOA center, which has been for past 13 years. We have trained almost around 100,000 people in the area of mindset, coaching, high performance. So that thing is going on. So that is one segment of my life where positive mindset started coming in. So that's how things were at that time.
So when you went to India and all that, so you didn't get attached to this meditation, yoga and all that?
This is interesting. Maybe that could be the reason, right? I always liked India, a good place. Then another turning point in my life came. So here I am, Law of Attraction, doing it. So in 2017, 2007, 2008, 10 years, right? 2017, I got an itch. 2017, I got an itch in the beginning of the year that I wanted to do yoga. Don't know why. Just wanted to do yoga. And I told, something was telling me, I need to learn yoga from the right person, not some hot yoga or beer yoga or whatever yoga. Real yoga. Didn't know. In that time, early 2017, I was sent a WhatsApp message by a friend, a client of mine, good friend, about some dude talking about Law of Attraction. I'm a fan of Law of Attraction. So I clicked on, someone with beard and long hair was talking with headgear. I was like, okay, who's this guy now? Name was Sadhguru.
Okay.
So he was talking about Law of Attraction. The way he talked blew my mind. Simplicity. Very simple. Okay. So there was a pulling factor. There was an intuition that there's a connection there, right? Let's say, he spoke about something called inner engineering. And I'm a believer of inner. The Law of Attraction is about inner. The way you are programmed, you see the world the way you want it to be. And he was talking about inner engineering. I'm an engineer. I wanted to go for the program. So I didn't know Sadhguru existed for around 20 years or more. I didn't know. I didn't knew this guy at that moment. 2 months down the road, okay, my wife and I, we were already looking for this program. We ended up in Coimbatore, India, in Velangiri Hill to do the inner engineering program.
Oh, you went all the way to India?
We went all the way to India to learn. I was having a bit of fever. I thought it's going to be a disaster. Amazing, life-transforming session.
How long was the program?
4 days. 4 day session. Everything was chunked down into a process for us to learn 2 parts. One is called the Upayoga, which is the stretching part of the yoga. Another one is called the Sambhavi Mahamudra, which is the Kriya Yoga. Now this is again funny. There's never funny moment, right? I have to have themes in my year. Every year I have theme. 2017 my theme was energy. And Kriya is energy. I didn't know. And it was about Kriya Yoga. So went and learned in 2017, came back, I only missed 1 day till now. It's more than 3 years plus. When my dad passed away, that's the only time I didn't do the
That means you came back and started doing the meditation every day?
Every day.
So did you achieve anything out of it?
not in the beginning. When you first come, 90 days you're supposed to do twice a day. It's like, taking your medication, right? Morning and evening, right? And you need to control your food because you have to do only after 4.5 hours of fasting. So you take your meal, after 4.5 hours only you can do
you can meditate.
the meditation and yoga. So we have to do that. It was really planning, and 90 days, yes, we completed it. What happened? Nothing happened actually. Felt like we accomplished something.
You were thinking 9 days and my third eye is going to
I'm
open.
going to enlighten. Nothing happened until after a year plus like that in 2018, somewhere in the middle, in one of the sitting that I had this movie that's being played. Because we've been doing this work. At that time I was asking a question, what else can we do for the community? How can we touch? Because at that time depression was an issue. 1 in 3 Malaysians in Malaysia have some sort of mental health challenge. 1 in 5 adolescents have depressions, anxiety or whatever. So it was really bad. There's around 300 million people who are having some issues in this world, right? So what happened was, at that time, I wanted to do something together with the center, right? At the LOA center, we call it Law of Attraction Center. I sat down for this meditation. Something came about a reset concept that we teach about how do you reset from bouncing from negative to positivity. Reset. So what do I want? We were all this while doing manually using buttons. Whenever we do programs, we give someone a button, reset. So what do I want? Woke up with the entire concept of how we can actually build an app, right? At that time, I only saw the concept. Like
apps in the iPhones and...
Yeah. Okay. So the app came after that. What I saw was a movie that was played from beginning to end. I woke up excited and confused. Right? Now after that, I had a conversation with my son. Can we touch, we've touched 50,000 people, can we touch 100,000 people in the next 10 years? He said, can. How about 1 million people? He said, can. Talking to youngsters, right? How about 10 million? Can. I said, how? One word. He said, app. Build an app. And he was already in computer science, top student there, and he took up the project, he built the app. It's called the Reset app. We have around 20,000 people in the community, and we saved 2 people from committing suicide last year. So that is something happened. So that's my yoga life. Right, India had a strong pulling. So
did you have any plan to maybe get this app with befrienders, and because befrienders do help people with depression and all that, right?
We did some talk. I did meet. The thing is that Diaz is more into picking up the phone and calling. Yeah. This is an app. This is not a cure. This is basically a place you can express yourself out. When you go and see a psychologist, if you're angry, they'll ask you to do an angry note. Crumple it, set it on fire. It's basically you're transforming an emotion, which is energy in motion, out.
From paper now it has come to app.
Yes. Now when I've seen many of them when they're typing, start smiling.
Yes.
They type. Very powerful.
Oh.
So another thing that really happened in yoga. One day, this is when we were having this yoga practice going on. One day, my son and I, we went to Penang. There was a training to this company, ideal client. So we met this amazing lady. She's a year elder to me, so very fit. So we were talking to her. She's the HR director, and she was telling about her dream to do 100 half marathons before she kicks the bucket. Now during this period, I've started going into some healthy life and all that stuff. Okay.
Still worried about your heart attack?
Yes, still my ticker, right? Still ticking away. So during that time, I was doing like 6 kilometers. 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, worrying also whether we'll come back after the run or not. This lady was talking about 21 kilometers. My son and I, when we were driving down, we looked at each other, discussed it. He said, if she can do, why can't we? So we came back, had a meeting. It's a family meeting now. We're a tight unit. We're going to do a marathon. See, if we do together. We've been running together. We said, okay, let's sign on. We signed on to the Seremban half marathon. To know what's going to happen. Seriously, my legs were like noodles. Don't know if it's going to last or not. My heart, I don't know what this guy is talking.
Yes, forget the legs, the heart.
Yeah, the heart. So, what did I do? I know I'll wimp out if I'm telling to myself. I declared to my parents, my family, I declared to my friends, I did a YouTube video, told to all my friends, I'm going to do a few stories. See me through it, I need your support. We are doing, Krishna and I, we are doing 21 kilometers and Devi, Kavina and Kavita, they're doing their 12-kilometer run. The reason why we're doing this run is mainly to express ourselves, and this is one way we can help people to come out of depression. So I am expressing. Some said thumbs up, some said you won't do it, some said you must be kidding, some can't even fathom 21 kilometers, right? So we took part in 21 kilometers. We were training. I was still alive.
You did it?
Still alive. We did it. To date, we have done 621 kilometers.
That's great.
Heart is perfect. Feels good. I'm blessed. That journey that happened in 26, when I was 26 years old, took me into this path. Otherwise, I would have been really good.
So you don't have any plans to put your experience in a book or something like that?
Now, this is the sweet part, right? Remember we spoke about law of attraction, Michael J. Logian asked the question, what are you going to do? So I said, I'm going to go back and do this with my family. So what happened was, came back and we started using all these tools and techniques. Along the way we met Jeevan Sahadevan with some other performance stuff, and we read some books. I have like 13 books that I read, which is my golden books that I keep in these years. There are a lot of things that we're doing in our family first. We used to call them the lab rats. That showed some amazing result, which we compiled in 13 years of experience. We compiled into a book, which we just published. And this is the best part, the icing on the cake. Michael Luigi has been in our life throughout, and he forwarded the book.
That's very nice.
The person who asked that question, what are you going to do, ended up...
It has reflected on a book now.
Yes. That is one of the biggest blessing in our life for someone at that stage here to say, hey, I trust you guys, I will forward this book.
That's very nice.
That's the book, that we have.
Okay, thank you for coming, on my invitation to, share your experience with me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Ganesh. Thank you.
Okay, that's all for this week. Okay, we'll meet again next week. Bye.